We started yesterday with a very powerful theme, which is about changing the mindset for the marketing industry. Greg spoke about something where there is no marketing institute or a degree for marketing, and I think that was something very interesting during the conversations later on. There are many other professions which actually have, but marketing doesn't. But that doesn't mean that marketing is not growing. It is, and it's bound to grow much faster than what it has in the past. And I think with all the technology innovation, all the AI, and all the competencies of the new technologies is going to grow faster, but yet be far more challenging than what it's been. Because every time you start to learn, start to adapt, you face challenges. And the objective for us at MMA is really to help address that growth, address some of those challenges, and make sure that we are powering the marketing for the industry. So, I'm Rohit Dadwal. I look after the business for Asia Pacific. I'm also head of the Global Smarties Awards, which is actually a true showcase of some of the best work that happens in the advertising industry. What we are looking forward to is to make sure that whatever content that we have on stage, whether yesterday, today, at our other events, at the book launch, part of the content that gets generated is not just inspiring, but also practical. It's not just theory, but actual use cases. All the frameworks and the guidelines that we are working towards is to ensure that we are able to put together the structure for the industry to take this forward. So as we embrace day two, there were quick highlights that I wanted to cover from yesterday, which was about how unique marketing as a function is for all organizations. Every organization, every different segment of the industry has marketing, and they look at marketing from a different point of view. If it's automotive versus fashion, FMCG versus retail, they all have their own perspective, their own measures of how they look at it. Brand versus performance being one of the key attributes we are discussing right now. I don't agree personally. I think it's not versus performance, it is brand and performance. It should be looked in unanimously, and also should be something that should fit the purpose of the business. We also spoke about the building blocks. I think Monica spoke about Lego and the building blocks and how you build on it. And with the fragmentation of the marketing industry, I think it's critical that we start to look at it in a collaborative manner. With all the technology, there is nobody who's going to be master of all the technology. So we need to look at putting those building blocks together, make sure that we are able to build that trust, build the long-term equity of the function that we are in. We covered some of the streams yesterday. We spoke about frugal innovation. We spoke about ethical influencer marketing and few of the other things. The point that I wanted to make here was it is all very different, yet combined. It's all heading in different directions, yet to the same objective. So we need to align ourselves to make sure that we are able to put together the complete view of marketing as an industry, as practitioners of the industry, to make sure that we have powerful insights. There was a journal theme that ran yesterday about test and learn, experiment. We are all in that stage. With the industry changing at the speed it's changing, we need to test. And the more we test, the more we will learn. And those then become the fundamentals for the business as we grow forward. I also wanted to touch upon the fact that we at MMA definitely do have a plan. We believe the work that we are doing globally with all our frameworks, whether it's on attribution, data, creative, etc., definitely has an insight and a roadmap of what the future will be. We are not 100% there. Everything is not fine-tuned, but it is very different from the way we are doing business or we have been doing business. We are looking ahead 3 to 5 years to make sure whatever challenges, whatever innovation, whatever new elements of advertising and marketing, the different practices of advertising and marketing are coming our way, are helping advance the marketeers. The ability to deliver value using those platforms, using those frameworks is the key message. And I do believe as we move forward, the precision of advertising, the precision and the accountability of advertising and marketing. The discussion with the CFO, there was a session yesterday about how do you actually have that conversation in the C suite. All that needs to come together. The C suite needs to understand marketing, and the marketing needs to understand the requirements of the C suite. One of the discussions yesterday that happened was Navi spoke about frugal innovation. It's not just about frugal innovation, it's actually ability to do more. And I think way we are structured today, the way we have new resources available to us, how do we best utilize those resources to help build what we believe will resonate with the industry, will resonate with the people in the industry and with the consumers. At the end of the day, everything we do for the consumers. And we ourselves are the consumers of the same products and services. We need to actually have the breakthrough ideas, and that's something that we are working through with our think tanks, frameworks, and we believe those frameworks, as we build those frameworks forward, will actually help lead an integral view of the future of advertising and marketing. We are working on attribution, data, winning marketing organization, AI, and many more. And I'm going to touch very briefly on each one of them later. But the idea here is these are just not the buzzwords. This is what the future is. So if we are not going to adopt it right now, experiment with it, it's going to get more and more challenging. There were a couple of panel discussions yesterday, whether it was around influencer marketing and retail, etc. It is all talking about the fact that there is going to be a lot more fragmentation that's going to happen in the business. With that fragmentation, how do you start to put all this together? We do use the word omni-channel very loosely, if you will. But it is very powerful. We all have to understand omni-channel. The moment we get into that omni-channel environment, if you were to translate that back to your own business, you have to have that omni-channel perspective internally before you go out. And that means you have to work and partner with every part of the business, every part of the business ecosystem. We have to talk to the technology providers. We have to talk to our internal technology team. We have to talk to the finance team. We have to talk to the sales team. It's an omni-channel environment. It has to be done internally before we go out. The consumer, they are our consumers. Internal organization is also a consumer of the marketing function. Marketing function can be a support function, but it's also results driven. It's also something that is very specifically driving the business as we move forward. So coming back to the discussions yesterday, we spoke a lot about how it's going to evolve. But what's going to happen today is really taking that forward on what we believe is going to be the true value. How we pivot marketing. Amit is going to come on stage after this. Amit is the chair for MMA India. He's going to talk about pivoting market in low growth times. And the point yesterday that we spoke about frugal marketing, tough times, headwinds, it's not just economical macro environments. It is a function environment also. With all these challenges, all new developments, these are also headwinds. How do you start to address some of these headwinds? And I think the focus for us is not just about innovation. As an industry, we need to come together to see if there's a way to make it part of the business that you are in today. Not from an innovation perspective, but from a core sales business perspective. We're also talking about driving growth in the future, driving growth from an industry application perspective. A lot of those things will be covered today. One of my favorite topics, retail media. growing at a speed which nobody actually thought of 3 years back. Every prediction on retail media in the last 3 years has been proven wrong. They said it'll grow at 20%, it grew at 200%. 2021, McKinsey said it'll be $100 billion business. It is currently at about $750 billion of ad spend. So it is growing fast. Quick commerce has enabled a lot of that. India is pioneer in quick commerce, 5 minute, Rapido, Blinkit, etc. Great examples. If there was a lot of innovation on commerce that happened in China, I think quick commerce is a showcase from India to the world as to what is possible. And with retail media and the omni-channel environment, again, we need to look at it from an internal perspective. We have to look at it as to how we as marketeers are more digitally mature to be able to build that. India, there was a statistics that I was reading, has 20 gigabytes of usage per user every month. It's one of the highest. It's the cheapest data market in the world. It is truly a mobile first market. So whenever we are looking at all these functions, whenever we're looking at all this innovation, adaptations, etc., we need to still keep in mind the word digital in India is mobile, because 90% of the consumers are still on mobile. It's a mobile first nation. And with 1.1 billion consumers are using digital and 90% of them on mobile, we need to reinforce our domain expertise of how we address that within the digital landscape. So we need to act. We need to act to make sure that whatever initiatives, whatever business plans, whatever innovations that are happening, we start to look at them, we start to adapt. We start to make sure that those frameworks, whether it's around attribution, data, etc., are things that we ensure are part of our structure. Similarly, they are models around new age technologies. They are models around new age business formats. They are models around new age measurement formats, etc. We need to accelerate our learning. I think the first thing we need to do is to accept that it's changing. I would even add to the theme of the conference, act, accelerate, and advance. But before that, we have to accept things are changing. I don't know how many of the people we know in the industry actually are in that mode of acceptance and recognizing. Once we accept that things are changing, once we accept that we need to change because the things are changing, it becomes easier to act and adapt. And then make sure that we are learning so that we can accelerate the adoption of that. With that, towards the end of my talk, I do want to take a few minutes and talk about a couple of things that we at MMA truly believe will help this change. We believe all the work that we are doing is actually in that quadrant, the fourth quadrant, which is the new knowledge. So if you look at the axis, is high impact and new knowledge. The work that we are doing from an MMA perspective, some of this was talked about by Monica and Greg yesterday. Brand as performance, movable middle framework, CAPS, personalization using AI, data maturity, CX maturity, etc. We are looking at building all these frameworks so that we can help. So we can help the industry understand what is yet to come, what the changes, what the landscape is going to be. It's all very futuristic. We are helping shape that future. Again, as was discussed yesterday, it's not 100% there yet, but we are on that path. Nobody else is. Let me be very clear. I don't know of any other organization, either in India, regionally, or globally, who has the aptitude and the bandwidth and the focus to actually help work on all these frameworks. We started doing AI about two years back, and we are the first ones, and I'm very sure when I say this, we can claim we are helping lead the understanding of AI. The amount of work that we've done on AI, whether it's our training tools, webinars, structures, even the framework that we built, the personalization framework, under which we've done about 20 case studies, and proven if you adapt and adopt AI, you can better enhance your campaign results. Everything that we've done is backed by case studies because we need to prove that all this new thinking that we are bringing to the market is actually practical and doable. Is what we are looking for is for partners, for marketers to adopt, first adapt and then adopt some of this thinking so that you can see the value and the benefit that we are putting together. Also, from a testbed perspective, all these frameworks, this is just 2 minutes I'll use on this. If you see all of these frameworks, in each case, we've seen an average increase from 50 to 200% if executed. If you adopt any of these frameworks on a test case basis for any of your campaigns, you can see this kind of yield. I'm not getting into each and every one of it, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions later and address any of these frameworks. But the idea is putting this together is to help build a better understanding of the business and better results for the business. Across all our frameworks, we've done case studies, we've proven scientifically, irrefutably, that everything that we are doing yields better results. And that's the core of the marketing function. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to be focused on. And that's what we are doing. Across all the sectors, and this particular graph here, chart here, actually shows where we are on each of those from an optimization, from a media structure perspective, and from the boost that we can provide to the business and the function as we move forward. So powering marketing for growth is the core, is the mantra for MMA. That's what we are focused on. That's what we are trying to bring to you. And I hope the day ahead will actually help you with some of the esteemed speakers, learned speakers who've taken their precious time to bring their thoughts together and share with you some of that. But we are more than happy and welcome all of you, if you're not yet part of the MMA member ecosystem, to please join us. And if you would like to adopt any of these frameworks, just understand, accept that this is coming and want to talk about it, please feel free to reach out to MMA. We'll be more than happy to guide you through. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.